Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a chilling, first-person breakdown of a truly baffling paranormal encounter. It's one of those stories that starts out totally innocent, but ends with the kind of lingering terror that's gonna make you want to double-check your locks tonight. So, let's just dive right in, shall we?
Right off the bat, I want to show you the ultimate terrifying stakes of our source material, because the narrator eventually makes this heart-stopping discovery that the boy had disappeared 9 years before I ever met him. I mean, just imagine that for a second. Imagine realizing that your childhood playmate, someone you literally sat right next to, shouldn't have even been there. It completely defies logic. So how exactly did she get to this realization? Let's retrace her steps.
Starting off with Section 1, the lonely childhood. To really wrap our heads around how an encounter like this happens, we have to look at the narrator's profound isolation as an 8-year-old girl. The picture painted by the source text is honestly pretty heartbreaking. She had zero neighborhood friends, her mom just never let her play outside with the other local kids, and her only potential playmates, a cousin and a brother, well, they lived over 3 hours away. So she spent her childhood almost entirely alone, stuck indoors. You can genuinely feel how desperate for connection this kid was. She was basically a blank slate longing for a friend, which made her incredibly susceptible to anyone who might just happen to come along.
Okay, so the day of the event finally arrives. Her mom has to run some errands and decides it's time for her daughter to finally get out and socialize. Moments later, our narrator rushes outside, her arms literally full of dolls and toys, just bursting with hope. But shortly after, the harsh reality hits. No matter how hard she tries, she's completely ignored by all the other kids. Nobody wants to play with her. She is totally on her own.
Which brings us right to Section 2, a strange new friend.
Just as she's rejected and about to give up entirely, someone finally notices her. A boy suddenly walks over, and notice the specific details from the account here. He had kind eyes, wore a warm smile, and appeared instantly friendly. Within minutes, they were fast friends. He even happily joined her doll tea party without a second thought, which, is pretty endearing. On the surface, this is the exact relief she was looking for, and they spend the whole afternoon playing. But looking back at this sequence of events, you kind of have to feel a little hesitation, right? I mean, a mysterious friend appearing exactly when she's most vulnerable? It's almost too perfect.
And here is where we get a really jarring shift. We go from this sunny, innocent doll tea party to a deeply unsettling setting. After playing all afternoon, the boy invites her over to his house. But as soon as she gets there, something feels fundamentally wrong. The source text notes the house looked incredibly old, almost completely abandoned, like nobody had lived there for years. The vibe instantly flips from warm and inviting to just cold and desolate.
This leads us right into Section 3, the abandoned house. Because she feels so uncomfortable inside that decrepit house, they decide to head outside to play in the backyard garden instead. But this is where the panic truly sets in, and it happens fast. Step 1, they enter the backyard. Step 2, this absolutely horrible feeling hits her. And Step 3, sudden, unexplained vomiting. This isn't just a vague sense of unease, okay? This is an intense, visceral rejection. Her body is giving her a severe immediate warning the absolute second she steps foot into that garden. It's a physiological response telling her she needs to get out. So the red flags are glaring. The house is abandoned, the sudden severe nausea hits, but look at the boy's reaction. When she gets violently ill, he does absolutely nothing. He doesn't offer help, doesn't ask if she's okay, doesn't run to get water, he just stands there smiling. It's a complete, terrifying lack of empathy that shatters that whole illusion of the sweet kid from the tea party.
And instead of helping her, he just looks at her and calmly delivers this chilling line, "Next time, you'll stay here overnight." Take a second to let that sink in. Imagine hearing that threat from someone standing over you while you're sick in an overgrown, abandoned garden. It sends a massive chill right down her spine, and she wisely bolts home soon after, trying her very best to just forget the whole bizarre encounter.
Let's move to Section 4, the newspaper clipping.
But of course, she can't forget. Fast forward exactly 2 weeks. Our narrator is walking through the neighborhood, actually looking for the boy again. Out of nowhere, a paper airplane suddenly drifts through the air and lands right at her feet. But as she picks it up, she realizes it's not normal paper. It's folded from an old, yellowed newspaper clipping. Curious, she unfolds it and starts to read. And what she sees makes her heart absolutely stop. It's an article about a missing child.
And the photo staring back at her, it's the exact same boy she had played with 2 weeks prior. But here is the crucial, terrifying twist hiding in that article. According to the newspaper, that boy hadn't just gone missing recently, he had disappeared 9 years earlier. Which takes us to our final part, Section 5, a lingering haunting. Reading that impossible number, the terrified 8-year-old drops the paper, can't even breathe, and literally sprints back to the safety of her house. She locks herself in her bedroom, but as she's standing by her window, desperately trying to catch her breath, something outside catches her eye. She looks closer, and her blood runs completely cold. The figure watching her from outside is the exact same boy, wearing the exact same clothes, with the exact same face, and wearing that exact same unsettling smile. The boy who vanished 9 years ago hadn't just played with her, he had followed her home. Think about the stark contrast here for a second. Then, an 8-year-old child locked in a bedroom in absolute terror. Now, our narrator is 19 years old. It's been 11 full years since that afternoon tea party. Yet, she remembers every single detail of that day as clearly as if it happened yesterday. The trauma, the impossible reality of what she experienced, it remains completely unresolved. It's a haunting that didn't just fade away when she grew up, which leaves us with this deeply unsettling thought pulled straight from the narrator's own lingering fears today. Sometimes, when she wakes up in the middle of the night and looks toward her window, she swears she can still see that smile staring right back at her from the dark. So I leave you with this question to ponder as we wrap up. If you woke up in the middle of the night, who would be smiling back at you from the window? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep your curtains drawn, and I'll see you on the next one.
And if you enjoyed this story, subscribe to USA Horror 01 for more terrifying horror stories.